Hi, we finished meeting for pronunciation practice on Tuesday, May 24th. And we started with a word you can say two ways, with the T or without the T in the middle. So with the T here, important. And that little mark after the T is to remind you to hold your tongue in the T position and not release it like that. Important. However, you can get rid of that first T completely and just say important. So your tongue goes to the T position, which is the same as the in position, important, and make the n noise. Important. This is important. And number 5, imported. And now the T sounds like a D. Imported. This is imported. Number 6, the stress is on the first syllable and the O changes to impotent, impotent. Number 7, stress is on the first syllable, interest. You can say interest, but it's more common to make it shorter. So interest is much more common. Interest. Spare. This A-R-E looks like R, but it sounds like air, like air around you. Spare. Can you spare a square? No, I'm sorry, I don't have a square to spare. Usually. So you can say this with 3 syllables, especially if it's a difficult combination and you need to make time for the movements. Usually, when you say zh, it's the same as sh, but with voicing. So make sound, zh. And that can be difficult for a lot of different languages. So take time, usually, and then your lips get small for the wool, usually. And li, the L, the lips need to come back. Usually, or 2 syllables, usually, usually. 3. This has the THR combination. So 3. Make sure that your tongue is either right between the teeth or right behind the teeth, but loose enough so that air can go over it. Voiceless, no sound here. And then in order to stop the tongue from touching the top of the mouth, which happens a lot, three, 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 that means that if you hear a r, that means your tongue is touching the top of your mouth. So pull your tongue down and back so that there's no chance for it to start touching before you make the R sound. Thrr. I delay my voicing. I pull my tongue back. 3, 3, 3. You should make all of your appointments for 3:33 if you need practice with 3. Boisterous, you can say it with 3 syllables, boisterous, or just 2 syllables, boisterous, boisterous. Reprimand. You don't have to say duh at the end. I put that little mark there and I didn't do it. Reprimand. It will sound like man. But if there's a vowel after it, then you will release the D and you'll hear it. Reprimand everyone, everyone. Reprimand. Which would be weird because it means like scold them for doing something wrong. Profusely. So I put few, F-Y-U, but it's the same pronunciation here. I just put 2 different ways to think about the spelling. If you think of few, that's the same. It's the FY combination. Few, few. Profusely. If you don't have your tongue high enough to make a Y, it'll sound like profusely, and that's not it. Profusely. Jovial. This is a fun word. It means in a good mood and happy, so it should be fun to say. Jovial. Jovi, your tongue goes very high when you say E, and then it slides down to make an L, and that's when the little invisible Y happens. Oh, yeah, I was going to write that down as a good example of an invisible Y. Jovial. Now, this word I learned today has a different meaning than I always thought. I always thought of it as drug paraphernalia, but it also means property that a woman owns on her own. When she's married, it's not her husband's, it's only hers. I had no idea. And I've also never said it with the R in the middle. So I've always said paraphernalia. But You can say it with the R. I did, maybe I've spelled it wrong. It's not a word I need to use very often. Paraphernalia. You can say paraphernalia, but you don't have to. You can say parapha, which I think is easier. Paraphernalia. Hopefully, you don't have to use it very often either. Okay, four syllables. Perfunctory. Perfunctory. Or the TORY can get squished to just tree. Perfunctory. And you're not releasing the K. Perfunctory. I don't have to have the K there at all. In fact, I'll take the K out. I don't want that to confuse you. Um, perfunct, because your tongue goes up to the NG combination is the same position as G and K. Fung, perfunctory, perfunctory, or perfunctory. A perfunctory smile, good humoredly, good hue. The HY is hue, good humoredly. Petulant, petulant. Hold the T at the end. Stoutly, hold the T because you don't need to release it. Stoutly, stoutly. Even if the word was just stout, you should hold the tongue in the T position. If I ordered a beer that was a stout, I would say, I'll have a stout and hold it there. Daintily, daintily. Or if you don't want to say the T, daintily. It means very carefully. So the cat is daintily walking on the fence. And we talked about, I talked about how there is a psychological association with sounds that are higher pitched being more dainty, delicate, lighter, small. So daintily makes you think of ding, 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 the cat walking very carefully. And lower frequency sounds, clumsy, clip clop, makes you think of bigger things. So, and that's true in these two words, daintily. I guess I am saying it really high. Daintily, daintily, clumsy, clum. Just makes you think of not very coordinated. Defiant, defiant. I wrote this down also to remind me that it's a good example of an invisible Y because your tongue goes very high, defiant, and it slides down. Juxtapose, juxtapose. Place. I know this, the way I wrote it here, looks like the word plays, but it really is just what it sounds like. It sounds like an S. Play with an S. Place. This one is two syllables, so you have to have a P before the lease. Police. If you go too quickly, police, police, it'll sound like more like number 26, please. So make P a little longer. P, police, police. And 26, you should have no delay between releasing the lips for the P and the L. Pull, pull, please. You can make your L, put your tongue in the L position before you make the P, and then there'll be no delay. Please, please. Engineer, engineer. Only. Make a good O, not just O, but O. Only. And both of these words they sound exactly the same. They both sound like air. And this one, heir to the throne. The H is silent. You start with the vowel A, air, air. English, English. And this is also a combination with a G and an L, where you can have the back of your tongue making the G at the same time the front of your tongue is making the L. Go, go. And that's good practice, just to practice that combination at the same time. Make your tongue make a G in the back and the all at the front. Go, go, go. It's good practice. English. And then there's no delay. Bureau. This showed up after we met, so I'll put it right here. Bureau. Bureau. I'll put row. Bureau. Bureau. This is like her. Bureau. Or maybe it could be bureau. I always say bureau. Let's look it up. This Always worry about my accent. Okay. Bureau. Bureau. Okay. Bureau. And we had only the lonely, because it's the same only lonely. And then we had somebody will write a book, The Lonely Engineer. All right, that's it. Thank you. And I'm glad you could be here today. And if not, I hope you can join us another time. Have a good day.